Hey guys, so this video is going to cover the concepts of electron shells. Now electron shells are where we would find electrons. So electrons occupy or place themselves in electron shells around the nucleus, which I've drawn here in the middle in red. And each shell can fit only a certain number of electrons. And so we're going to have a look at the first shell, which can fit 2 electrons. And so here we've got electrons filling in the first shell, and our 2 electrons are now in. Now once the first shell has been completely filled, we can then start filling up the next shell. So here we have the second shell, which can fill, which has enough space for 8 electrons. So here are the 8 electrons in the second shell, and again, once we've filled the second shell, we can then move on to the third shell, which can generally fit 8 electrons. You can actually technically fit 18 electrons, but at this stage you only really need to remember that the third shell fits 8 electrons. So after the first, second, and third shells are filled, we move on to the fourth shell, which can fit many more electrons, 18 electrons to be exact. And then the fifth, sixth, you can have up to 7 shells in total. The 7 shells are for the 7 periods on the periodic table, and you'll find that each shell corresponds to the number of periods. So if there is 1 shell, then it's going to be a first period element, and if it's a second shell, then it'll be a if there are 2 shells, then it's going to be a second period element, and so on. And so if you have an element with 7 shells like this one, then it's probably going to be a 7th period element. So in summary, electron shells are where electrons are found, and each shell can fit a certain number of electrons. The first shell fits 2, the second shell fits 8, and the third shell fits 8 as well. And so an easy way to remember these is this thing here, 288. And you'll find that 8 is a magic number for the number of electrons that can fit in a shell. And of course, a shell must be filled before you move up to the next one. All right, thanks for listening.